Hi everyone. In this video, I'll be looking at a way to better structure your essays. Recently, I've seen a lot of essays that are using a lot of things, some bad habits, I would say, that I'd like to see changed. So in this video, I'll show you some sentences that you don't need in your essay, and I'll show you where you can add some sentences to get a better task achievement score, basically, to make your essays more persuasive. So let's get straight into it. The following essay here uses a structure that I've seen constantly, and I don't really like it. I think it can be improved upon significantly. And I'll try and show you this structure that I don't like, and then I'll contrast it with a structure that I would prefer, and I'll try to explain why I think my preferred structure is better. First, have a read of this essay and see how you feel about it. See if you think it's a good essay or not. When you've finished, we'll talk about it more. So pause the video, read it, and then we'll continue. As I said before, this isn't a great essay structure to use, and let me show you why. See on the slide here, when we look at the structure of the essay as a whole, I've highlighted in blue all the structural sentences. So your structural sentences are like the skeleton of your essay. The meat is the arguments, but the skeleton is the structure that supports those arguments. So the structural sentences in an essay are the introduction, the topic sentences. Now, the topic sentences are the first sentences in each body paragraph, and the conclusion. In this essay, there are also body paragraph summary sentences. You see them there. One starts with therefore in body one. In body two, the other one starts with thus. So this is a very common structure. I want you to notice how much of this structure is blue. You can see half the essay is blue, and this is my first problem with this kind of structure. So much of your essay ends up being structural in nature and not based on supporting arguments, not based on persuading the reader with reasons. So this is the first issue. So let's break down now the introduction and see what could be improved. Let's look at the question now. It says, today we live in an electronic information age. It is easier to be connected by technology, yet many people seem no closer to feeling happy in their lives. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Let's look now at the introduction that answers this question. So, firstly, our job in an introduction is to introduce the topic. So let's see how this person has done it. They've said, the use of technology has become a topic of heated debate. This is a very common opening sentence structure. Whatever X has become a topic of heated debate. This is being debated a lot. There's intense disagreement about something. A lot of people start their essays with a structure like this. Next, we have a paraphrasing of the argument. It says, as communications technology has advanced, people have become more and more connected to each other and the world around them. So that's just the fact. Now we get to the argument here. It says, however, it has been argued that despite these advances in digital technology, people are no happier than they were in the past. So that's the presentation of the argument. Now it's our job to give a position. The writer of this essay said, who was me, said, I completely disagree with this point of view. Why? Because social media platforms are making people happier and helping them in business. Let's look at why this introduction is not great. Now we have the introduction side by side. I want you to see what I would change. So on the left-hand side is the essay introduction structure that I don't really like. Let's look at the first sentence in blue. It says, the use of technology has become a topic of heated debate. Now this sentence is completely pointless. It's not necessary to introduce the question. Clearly it can't be, because it's not paraphrasing anything. It's just completely structural to set up something. So automatically this kind of language is memorized. You're not getting special points here for any advanced structures or vocabulary, because clearly this is like a memorized sentence. You could use it with any essay. So you won't be getting extra points for this. And it doesn't help you introduce the topic, the argument, or your position. Now, so on the right, which is the good introduction, I've just fully deleted that sentence. It wasn't necessary. Now you can look at the bottom, we have this other blue bit. The blue bit at the bottom says, because social media platforms are making people happier and helping them in business. So this is part of the person presenting their position. The full sentence is, I completely disagree with this point of view. And then the writer feels the need to explain why they disagree. And they'll say, because this reason and that reason. You don't have to explain why. You have the position. That's not what your introduction is for. Your introduction is designed, is purpose rather, is to give your position. Your body paragraphs are there to give the arguments for your position. If I take this part of the sentence out, my essay doesn't lose anything. The essay isn't less clear. It's just as clear as before. I'm just saving my time, and I'm preventing repetition as well, because you'll find in the very next sentence, the topic sentence, you'll just be repeating half of this. You'll be repeating the point about social media platforms. So if you're using this structure that I don't like, firstly, you can get rid of that topic of heated debate nonsense. No need for that one. And you don't need to give your reasons for your position in the introduction. As you can see on the right, the way I presented my position is, I completely disagree with this point of view. Alternatively, I might say, I completely agree with this point of view, but I don't need to say why. So that's something else you can change. Let's look at the body one paragraph. Here they are side by side. The essay structure I don't like on the left, the one I prefer on the right. And why is this? Well, the first half of these, the parts in black here are exactly the same. I haven't changed anything. You start with the topic sentence. One reason why being connected is making people happier is because of the way people use social media platforms. And then we bring in our arguments, okay? The first argument is, by using Messenger and calling applications such as Messenger and Line, people can now keep in contact with each other even when distance separates them. I support this with an example now. For example, international students can call or just chat with friends and family at home, which reduces homesickness and its related sadness. Now, a lot of students then do a paragraph summary sentence starting with therefore, and they just basically repeat what was already said. So this one would be, therefore people are happier because of technology. I'm just giving you an example of a structure that I see. Okay, it's almost always a therefore sentence here that people are using. Now, what does this sentence add? Therefore, people are happier because of technology. Look back at the topic sentence again. The topic sentence says, one reason why being connected is making people happier is because of blah, blah, blah. Okay, you already started your topic sentence with this idea. People are becoming happier. You then supported it. You've already said this in the topic sentence. My point is this paragraph summary sentence at the bottom, it's exactly the same content as the topic sentence. You're just repeating a sentence. So in other words, it's not adding anything to your essay. So you can get rid of it. Now, if you get rid of that blue sentence there, that therefore sentence, your paragraph starts looking very, very small. So what we can do, instead of having a therefore sentence, we can bring in more arguments. So if you look to the right-hand side, the good essay, look at the red text here. So instead of stopping at just using Messenger and Line, I bring in a new thought. It says, along with this, Social media enables people to share exciting moments with their friends by posting their thoughts and experiences. Many modern young adults enjoy extravagant holidays, upload their pictures and videos on Instagram, and then enjoy the envious comments of their friends. Okay, this is more ideas showing that people become happy, all right? They get exciting moments, they get to share, blah, blah, blah. So as you can see, I was able to give more content, more supporting arguments, because I'm using a different structure. I'm using a structure that has more meat on it. Less bone, more meat. That's the idea of the structure that I'm preferring. Let's look at body paragraph 2. You'll see the same thing here. So on the left and the right, the black text is exactly the same. But then again, we get to this paragraph summary sentence. In the blue, it says, thus, technology is helping people do business that they enjoy. Now, again, go up to the topic sentence. What did the topic sentence say? It said, embracing technology can also contribute to happiness in a variety of other ways. Technology can contribute to happiness. That's exactly the same thing as what the conclusion sentence said. So the conclusion sentence isn't adding anything. I understand why people do it. It's a summary, but if your paragraph is well written, you don't need a summary. You can just make a statement and then support it, and that's enough. So instead of adding this summary statement, on the right-hand side, you can see I've added a new point. It says people are now also able to create a personal brand online based on activities that interest them. A lot of Instagram influencers have become relatively famous just from posting pictures of their travel around the world, which is a dream job that was limited to television hosts before the rise of the internet. In other words, people are doing jobs that interest them. So that's making them happy. So that's a supporting point. Again, now let's get to the conclusion. This is another conclusion problem that I really don't like. So here we go. Let's read the first paragraph, the one with blue. It says, in conclusion, even though technology has changed the way we interact, some people think we are no happier than in the past. Now that sounds like the introduction, doesn't it? It sounds like you're just introducing the theme of the question again. There's no need to do that. That was the job of the introduction. So we don't need to summarize the fact, summarize the topic, summarize the argument. None of that is necessary for a conclusion. We just need to give our position. So as you can see on the right, I've just deleted that sentence and gone straight into in conclusion, I believe. And the rest of it is exactly the same. Now, this is the big moment. When you look at the whole essays, both essays side by side, look how similar they are in size. Overall, I did the word count. The one on the right with the red text is about 20 words longer. The one on the left is about 300 words. The other one is about 320. Look at all the meat on the bone. So all the black text here is skeleton. It's structural sentences. All the blue text is supporting arguments. As you can see from that first structure, that common structure that I see everyone using all the time, there's very little meat on the bone, very little in the way of supporting arguments, but so much structural stuff. Now, if you look at my approach on the right with the red text, you can see there's so much more so many more supporting arguments, so much more content. This gives me much more of a chance to persuade the reader to agree with my position. Gives them time to get into my arguments a bit. So I'm also no less clear on the right-hand side. My position is just as clear. I've lost nothing by getting rid of some of those structural sentences. As you can see, the two essays are pretty much the same size, but one of them is much more persuasive and should get you a better task achievement score at least. I would say the first essay is in the 7 to 8 range, and the second essay, the one I prefer, is probably in the 8 to 9 range. If you want to get a high TA score, you really need to make your essays persuasive and not fill them up with structural rubbish, basically. Yeah, I hope this was useful to you. Feel free to share it with others if you think they could use it as well. Also, let me know in the comments if you want more videos like this or videos on particular topics as well. That would be really great. Remember, I'm at passyourielts.net. That's my website. You'll also find me on Facebook at Pass Your IELTS.